Hey guys, it's Q here, and we're making a video basically to cover a news topic that I'm pretty much really excited about. It's one of the things that, for me, it's one of my biggest things for this year. It's one of the things that I'm just like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I decided, I'm going to cover it in a video because usually I'd cover something like this in a podcast. If you guys want to hear what I talk about on my podcast, you can check that out. It's That Beautiful Life. That's the name of the podcast that I'm most active on right now. I have other podcasts, but the others are kind of on hiatus right now, so you won't really get any sort of updates on them for maybe a little while. I'm actually in the process of trying to get those others back up and running, properly. But that being said, the thing is that I really wanted to talk about this Level 5 news that just came out recently. The thing is that Level 5 CEO Akira Hino, I think that's how his name is pronounced, and he has recently stated that the future of their main titles are all gonna be released on the Nintendo Switch. And when I heard that, I was like, wow. And the strangest thing with my relationship, with Level 5, is that we don't actually usually get news from Level 5 because they don't put out a lot of news. And so usually when I find out news about Level 5, it's through the pipeline. It's usually something like, a Gamatsu translation, and some other outlet covers it, and then I see it in my feed and I'm like, oh, Level 5's doing something. Because getting news directly from them, almost impossible. Like if you go to their their US website, it just has news from 2016. So that should give you an example of how they just basically don't put out as much information as regularly as a lot of other publishers or developers would do. But anywho, the fact of the matter is that Level 5 is one of my favorite publishers, my favorite developers, sorry. And I think I've said this before in the past, but usually I don't talk about Level 5 as often because their games are very niche, and also I'm not usually playing their games all the time. I'm usually waiting for their games. That's one of the things with Level 5 is that I'm usually waiting for a Level 5 game. And the thing is that the reason why Level 5 is currently now going to be like, oh, we're bringing all our games to the Nintendo Switch is because one, Nintendo Switch is really popular, and two, Level 5 got some really good traction with Ni no Kuni 2, so they're like, well, we might as well just start tossing stuff out because people want games. And the people who have Switches also want games, and we can get a lot of market in the West now with our games, so we're gonna toss everything that we make up on the Nintendo Switch. So chances are Ni no Kuni may end up getting released to Switch. I am pretty positive that Ni no Kuni 1 would get a remaster for the Switch or a remake, and then we get Ni no Kuni 2 for the Switch. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm putting out my, what's the right word I want to use? I'm putting out my I forget about words. I put up my opinion. I'm saying, hey, this is my prediction. That's the word I want to use. This is my prediction. So I'm putting up my prediction that Level 5 is going to release Ni no Kuni 1 for the Nintendo Switch in the future, and Ni no Kuni 2 as well will follow after that. And I'm estimating time frame wise, it's probably going to take us about, I don't know, maybe a year. Maybe between now and the end of this year, maybe we may see Ni no Kuni 1, or we may at least see an announcement. And then we get Ni no Kuni 1, maybe, if it takes a while to just port it, it would probably take us maybe by January next year, I think. Somewhere around there would be a nice time frame. But anywho, Ni no Kuni has done well for Level 5, and they're bringing all their games to the Switch. Now, the reason I'm doing this particular video is particularly not specifically for Ni no Kuni and most of other Level 5 games, because if you know Level 5, they're known for games like Professor Layton, Dark Cloud, Yokai Watch, Fantasy Life. Those are games that Western players tend to know Level 5 for. They're like, oh, I know Dragon's Quest from Level 5. I know White Knight Chronicles from Level 5. But for someone like me, that, I love football. Football is a big thing for me. If you guys have watched our FIFA and PES reviews, I review them every year. I'm the one on the team that's like, hey, we gotta get this covered. And if you look at my Steam account, my most played game is PES right now. And back in the day when I was playing FIFA religiously, FIFA was my most played game as well. And when I say back in the day, that's just about a year or two ago. FIFA was my most played game as well, and I'm talking 200-300 hours on just, that's basic, to me. So the thing is that I love football, and Level 5 makes a football game. and it's called Inazuma 11. And oh, I love the Inazuma 11 games so much. I always regret that I've never covered one on the site, in the sense like a review. I've never reviewed an Inazuma game on the site, and it always pisses me off because I'm a huge fan. And I bought, like, you know, the most recent Inazuma that came out for the 3DS. I bought it like twice. I bought one copy for myself and I bought one for a friend, and I never reviewed it. I just bought it, had it, played it, and didn't review it, and I always regretted that. Maybe I should probably do that. Maybe I should pick up my 3DS, get comfortable with it, and review it. Maybe, fingers crossed, I do it in the future. But the point is that usually, you know, Inazuma 11 games don't ever get released here in the North American region, right? It's usually in Europe, and that's it. Because as far as they're concerned, well, North American gamers don't play football games. They just don't really care about it. And so we don't get Inazuma 11 over here. And I think they tested Inazuma 11 on the 3DS and it didn't do too well. The initial, like the first Inazuma 11, they remade it and they put it on the 3DS. And I don't think the sales did so magically that they wanted to bring Inazuma 11 2 and 3 and so forth. Because I was hoping, because they did a sort of like a remaster where they had all the Inazuma 11 games, the trilogy for the first arc, I guess. They did a trilogy of that, and I think it was released in Europe, but we never got it over here. And the problem with the 3DS is that it's region locked, so I couldn't even import it, even though I would have totally imported it with no questions asked. So the only way you would have been able to play those games in the West is if you used like some form of a homebrew sort of device, you know, and put it in your 3DS and then play the games on there. But I have no interest in doing that on my 3DS, so I was just like, okay, I gave up. I'm just not gonna play Inazuma 11 on my 3DS. Such is life. I gave up. But the thing is that now with them saying, hey, we're bringing all of our mainline series over, Inazuma 11 is a mainline series for Level 5. And because Inazuma 11 is a mainline series, I am very positive that we will get Inazuma 11 for the Nintendo Switch. And there is a new Inazuma 11 announced for the Nintendo Switch. We haven't gotten a lot of details for it for a while. I think it's been like up in the air. I think the last time we got anything about it was in October. And that was Inazuma 11 Errors is the name of it for the Nintendo Switch. It was announced, it was shown in a broadcast in Japan, I think, during summer. It says it will be released in summer 2018 in Japan. So Japan is getting it in 2018, and which is this year, which is summer. So I'm saying like somewhere between July, August, maybe we may get it. And here in the West, I'm giving it maybe another month, maybe September, which would be perfect. I would love Inazuma 11 in September because it's around the time when football season is like at its highest, because that's when FIFA comes out, that's when PES comes out. That's a perfect time to have an Inazuma 11 drop as well, just to get that sort of like really hype thing. And so I'm super excited for this. And even if it doesn't get a North American release and it gets a European release, you know, an EU release, I will be able to get it this time, and I will definitely be covering it. There will be a review for this game. Like the minute that this gets released, the minute that, you know, it's out there, there'll be a review. It's like no question asked. I'm gonna review it. Whether we get review copies or not, I'm making sure this game gets reviewed for Inazuma 11 Aris, because of the fact that, one, I'm a huge Inazuma 11 fan, and two, I'm gonna be able to get it whether it's in Europe or it's in North America, because my Switch is region free, because Switches are region free. And also, I already have an EU account made on my Switch, and it's weighted. It's specifically, I made the EU account to review another game that we got, but it's specifically for Inazuma 11. Like, that was the mindset. When I was making the account, I was like, mate, this is so gonna be for Inazuma 11. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to cover, is that I'm looking forward to Inazuma 11 coming out for the Nintendo Switch, and I just wanted to talk about that Level 5 news. I know a lot of outlets have already covered this information, and they've talked about it from different angles, because not a lot of people play or know of Inazuma 11, and I just wanted to, you know, share that sort of opinion about this particular game that's a bit niched, but it's so good. It's really good. It's like a football RPG. That's the sort of gameplay it's like. So anywho, I'm gonna leave it like that, and thanks for watching this video. If you like it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you can see updates from other stuff that we do. If you'd like to see me do more videos like this that are news related, please leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you'd like to hear me cover. And with that, guys, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna head out of here now, so bye.